This proves there is an agenda against the Indiana Fever. There is an attack agenda.
Brand new footage just hit the internet and it's going viral faster than a buzzer beater at the final second.
Tina Paopao, she hacked Caitlin Clark. Her arm is like being grabbed by Tina Paopao and she does take it off.
And then when the refs don't call the bear hug,
one of the worst missed calls I think I've ever seen in basketball.
This is another year and another case of WNBA referees not making the right calls when it comes to Caitlin Clark.
This slow motion footage makes it crystal clear Caitlin Clark was deliberately targeted by the Atlanta Dream, and not in a tough defense kind of way. This was more like, let's push the rules as far as we can before anyone notices, and the refs didn't just miss it, they almost backed it up. Tell us what you think about the officiating in the comments below. Let's go.
Let's watch the play here.
Deciding to reset things.
As you can see, she dribbles over to the wing, pushes off a little bit, and hits that three. Now, if you slow things down and if you actually go frame by frame, you can see that Paopao had two hands on Caitlin. It wasn't just a one-hand hand check. She was kind of grabbing her with two hands.
In a sequence that looked more like wrestling than basketball, Clark was held, hugged, and full-on body checked. We're talking jersey grabs, hip locks, the whole 9 yards. This wasn't just one rough play, it was a full highlight reel of cheap shots. And while all that was happening, what did the refs do? Took a vacation right there on the court, whistles, hidden eyes looking anywhere but the action. You couldn't write a worse script if you tried.
This is some of the worst refereeing I've ever seen to not call a defensive foul here. Like, this is not just a hand check, this is a double jersey grab.
WNBA referees that's making it so damn hard for them to make the right calls at the right moment.
But here's the part that really throws logic out the window. The internet is actually blaming Caitlin instead of backing a player getting treated like a tackling dummy. The trolls showed up like it was their Super Bowl. She pushed off. They say she started it. Really, if grabbing someone's jersey with both hands counts as defense, now someone better rewrite the whole basketball rule book.
She's going up against Paopao and she does a step back three. She hits it, but the internet is going wild for this because they are complaining about her pushing off with her left arm.
Let's break down the moment that's now burned into every fan's mind. Caitlin Clark, who moves like a guided missile when she drives to the rim, was going head-to-head with Tina Paopao, but this wasn't defense, it was a one-woman wrecking crew. Paopao wasn't even in a stance. She reached out like Clark stole the last cookie, grabbing her jersey with both hands like she was trying to stop a train using a beach towel.
Paopao is on her. Paopao grabs her hip. You see here, so Caitlin's trying to blow by Tina Paopao. Like, Tina Paopao is not a good enough defender to play flat like this. Two hands on Caitlin Clark's jersey, then she goes around the hip. Caitlin shoots from so far back. Oh my god.
And just when you think, all right, here comes the foul, nothing, not a single call from the officials. But it gets better. Clark tries to get free and extends her arm slightly, a normal move for any guard under pressure, especially when the defender is already off balance. It wasn't a shove or an elbow, just a natural way to create space, but somehow that tiny arm movement is what everyone focused on, not the two-handed jersey grab, not the full body bump, just that small move, and suddenly she's the villain of the whole clip.
It's not an offensive foul, and if it's an offensive foul, the offensive foul comes way after the defensive foul. Even if it wasn't for the hand, I don't think that that's enough of a push-off to call an offensive foul, especially when the defensive player is off balance.
Watch it again in slow motion. Clark was already past the defender before the contact even started. She had the angle, the speed, and the momentum, but because of the Dream's wrestling tactics, she never got the foul she deserved, and instead of support, she got slammed with blame.
This happens a lot. There's a lot of times that guards are working the defenders off of them, especially if a defender has a hand on their side, on their jersey, on their arm, anything. You are allowed to kind of swipe and get the defenders off of you.
It's wild. Let's talk about the hypocrisy. Last season the story was Caitlin needs to toughen up. Every time she hit the floor, the response was just a shrug and welcome to the W. Remember when Gino said this?
And Diana said it best. This kid's in for a rude awakening. And they all jumped over her, but they didn't read the whole thing that she said. But nobody's printing. You know, Diana Taurasi was right. This kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league. And she's a rookie. And if you're a WNBA player, if you're any kind of player, you're going to say, I'm going to make a statement.
But now that she's learned to use her body to fight through the hits, the criticism has flipped. Now it's she's too physical, which is it. You can say she's too weak for the league 1 year, and then how dare she push back the next.
So there's a hot topic going on right now. Caitlin Clark says she got cheap shotted against the sky. I mean, throughout the season, she's been getting beat up. Hard screens, elbows, knocked down.
This isn't about one play or one player, it's a recurring problem. Clark isn't getting superstar calls, she's getting singled out, and the scary part is it's becoming normal. Every time the refs hold back their whistles, it sends a message: it's okay to play rough with her, just don't let her score. Remember when Alyssa Thomas did this and it wasn't even called a flagrant foul?
Another look here at the heavy contact.
Meanwhile, Clark keeps playing through it all. No complaints, no tantrums, just buckets. She's getting hacked and hammered and still dropping dimes like it's a free clinic. If you ask me, that's not just skill, that's toughness at the highest level.
Caitlin is past Tahina Paupo here. Tahina Paupo is stopping her with her arms like this on the jersey, stopping her. There is an arm extension. Because she's in such bad defensive position, is already, look at her where her feet is before the contact. She's throwing herself out of the play anyway.
The worst part is this whole conversation should have been about protecting the league's biggest rising star. Instead, it's been taken over by armchair referees and salty Twitter fingers. Paupo was clearly outmatched and resorted to grabbing and pulling, but somehow Clark is the one under fire. It's pure madness.
Caitlin Clark, her arm is like being grabbed by Tahina Paupo and she does take it off.
She's trying to gain separation to shoot a three.
But I've never, this is some of the worst refereeing I've ever seen to not call a defensive foul here. This is a vet move by Paupo. I have to say, this is a vet move by Paupo.
And let's be real, the league needs Caitlin Clark. She's not just a player, she's the engine, bringing in fans, raising ratings, selling jerseys. The least they can do is protect her like every other star before her, because if this keeps up, the message is loud and clear: you're only allowed to shine if you do it quietly.
Oh, got it. And that's exactly how I'm feeling right now, bro. Like, at this point, watch this play, guys. No call whatsoever. No call whatsoever. But they will call Caitlin Clark getting a technical. They will call Caitlin Clark getting a technical foul.
So if you believe in fairness, consistency, and standing against double standards, it's time to speak up. Caitlin Clark doesn't need favoritism. She needs the game called the way it's meant to be called, fairly.
It is a mad situation just all around when it comes to Caitlin Clark, because it's very clear that she is way stronger.
Caitlin has always been an underrated athlete. She's the fastest player in the league to me with the ball in her hands, and she was the best guard finishing around the rim last year. She shot a bunch of it, and it's been the whole preseason where it looks to me like on her deepest shots, she is just getting them off like they're nothing, like they're routine. Nobody else is shooting from this distance regularly, and she's doing it with a flick of her wrist. How easily it looks like she's shooting those threes and hitting those threes in the clip that she's doing it, going to the rack, all these various things that show she's even stronger than she was a year ago. And you see it in the strong numbers. I mean, 13 points, 6 boards, 7 assists in 23 minutes of action.
One of the biggest hurdles for Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever last season was the WNBA referees. Now, the front office made it their business to revamp the team, bring in more aggressive players to help them get further in the WNBA season and possibly win a WNBA championship. But before any of that stuff could even get done, we have to take a look at the misguided missile that can destroy everything this upcoming season, and that is the WNBA referees and this secret agenda. Here and another case of WNBA referees dropping the ball, not making the right calls when it comes to Caitlin Clark. Bruh, how we one game away for the start of the season and we have already Caitlin Clark getting fouled extremely hard. Look back at the referee like that. WNBA referees are terrible. The one-sided calls against Caitlin are so obvious and disgusting. They're ruining the game. If the referees do not get this whole situation together with this Caitlin Clark thing, fans is finna stop watching this sport.
She is highly likable. I think that lends itself to her popularity is she comes across as somebody that's really just respectful, likable. There's other players out there that just don't come across that way.
Fan took this iPhone footage of the Indiana Fever doing a workout after that game against the Atlanta Dream. And it was Caitlin, it was Brianna Turner, Jaylen Brown, and Natasha Howard. They were working out in the hallway and just doing some simple lifting. And then also you can see here, Sophie Cunningham comes out of the locker room and she is wearing a boot. So in 2024, she averaged 16.5 points per game, 4 assists, 5.5 rebounds. She shot 37% from the field and 31.8% from three. Now, if you look at her preseason in 2025, she only played 2 games in this preseason, and one was against that Brazilian national team. She played 21 minutes. She averaged 14.5 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. She shot 52.5% from the field and 50% from three-point range.
Have you guys been explicit so far about wanting to win a championship this year? And
yeah, I mean, absolutely.
What does success then look like? I mean,
a championship.
Success, yeah.